Hey guys, today I wanted to do, I'm kind of starting a series on my favorite makeup pairings and combos. I know a lot of people like to use like certain mascaras together to achieve a certain look, and I do that too. I do that with other things as well, just as everyone else does. Like face products and lip products. So I wanted to go ahead. Today I'm doing face, and this is mostly just foundations and powders and how I use them and why. So I'm gonna get started with foundations. And the first foundation I want to talk about is the Tarte Maracuja Miracle Foundation. I really love this foundation, and this foundation is like confidence in a bottle. It is the most full coverage foundation I have. It is insane. You don't have to use a concealer. You can use this under your eye. I mean, it is awesome. It's a little tricky to put on, so I usually put it on with a wet brush or a wet sponge, but I love it. It does have a bit of a scent, and it's not going to be for everybody, and it is kind of strong, and it does last a little bit. Like after I put this on and go out, I'll be like, what's that smell? And then I'm like, oh, that's my face. So, you know, it's not going to be for everybody, but you can get a free sample of this at Sephora, you know, to see how well you like it. But I really do like it, and I have terrible skin, and so sometimes I just need a really full coverage new skin foundation. And I love this one. And then since this is so full coverage, and also you can't really tell, I'm doing a blog post and I'll have swatches of these foundations and the powders that I pair with them, so you can see kind of why. But this is very yellow on me, and I feel like you can kind of tell, like it is yellow. This is the lightest color. The next color down was far too dark. This is fair. I think they have light as well, and that was just, I mean, my mom's darker than me, and that's what she wears. So, yeah, if you have super light skin, yeah, just get a sample. But I would recommend this to anyone. This is actually really, really moisturizing and good for mature skin as well. I know my mother-in-law, on my recommendation, went ahead and bought this, and she uses it, and it looks really good on her. So yes, I love that foundation, and I pair that with this powder. This is L'Oreal Infallible powder, and I do really love this powder, but I pair it with it because it's kind of like a creamy powder, and it has a super natural finish, but it's pretty brown. I have the color Natural Buff, and like if you put this on with like a sponge, it's like tinted enough where you can see where you put it. So I like to put it on with a brush to kind of diffuse it, but that's why I use this powder, because this is kind of yellow and this is kind of brown. So plus this is really full coverage, and believe it or not, it's super dewy because it has that maracuja oil in it, and this is super matte. But it also isn't extremely like full coverage, so it lets a little bit of the naturalness of the foundation come through, and I just think that this pair together looks really natural, really nice, and you can't tell that you're like trying to hide all your red skinness, and I just really love it. And I've been reaching for these two together all the time. I have used this with probably 3 or 4 different powders, and another reason is this dries pretty quickly. Like if you think Revlon Color Stay is hard to work with, you're gonna have a huge problem with this. This dries like in 2 seconds when you put it on, and so it is kind of hard. Like some powders kind of need a little bit of tackiness and like wetness to kind of stick to. This doesn't. This is like a really creamy powder, and so I feel like it's just so easy to go on. Like it doesn't look powdery at all. Like if you're looking at it up close, it's like you can see my fingerprint in it from swirling it earlier, because it's like it's almost a creamy powder. So it's really nice, and just these two are just really great together. I love them. And then my next one is one of my favorite foundations of all time. It's the Revlon Color Stay Whipped. I love this foundation so much. It's just so good. I love it. This is the perfect match for my skin tone. It lasts almost all day on me. I would say between 8 to 10 hours. I don't have to touch up a few times, but for me that is nothing unheard of. And I love the finish of this. I just love everything about it. And it's pretty matte. I don't think it's like Color Stay like liquid matte, but it's definitely like a more matte foundation. And what I like to pair with this is the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat powder. It looks like this. I don't know if you've ever tried this. I'm almost out. I like this powder. I think it's really good. I do not think that it keeps you matte or lasts for a really long time, which is okay because this definitely does. And this together is so pretty on the skin. It's so natural. This is the lightest color, and it doesn't really have any pigment at all. When I swatched it, it almost looked kind of white. That was a concentrated swatch, but you can definitely in the picture see the sheen. I'm not going to be able to show it to you now, but it's definitely sheeny, which is nice, but it doesn't look crazy, I swear to God. And so I just think this, since this was like the perfect color for my skin tone, and this is like a little lighter, more like translucent, and has like a little bit of a sheen, that together these just look so pretty on the skin. It just looks really natural, really pretty. And then this just lasts forever on me. I just love it so much. This combo is one of my favorites. Like, I may just buy this powder again just to have to use with this, because I mean this looks good with other powders too, but I just prefer it with this one. I just think it adds a little something to this foundation with like the sheen and the like lack of color, since this is just such a perfect match for my skin. But yes, I've just found this to be one of my favorite combos. And then my very last one, now this is like crazy. I have this on now, so I guess it doesn't look super crazy, but if you want a face that's not going to budge and it's very full coverage, this is your face combo. This is the Revlon Color Stay Liquid. I really love this. This is also another really good match for my skin. And I absolutely love this foundation. I could not say enough about it. And I love this with the Maybelline Dream Matte powder. I'm not a massive fan of this powder, but I do think that it does work, and it helps your makeup stay in place, and it helps keep you matte. And this in the beginning, like if you have a finishing spray, you might want to use it. I love like a dull matte face. Like it gives me confidence that my makeup's gonna last forever, because I have super oily skin, and so I really don't mind like for the first hour or two I go out looking a little mask-like, because I know once I start to produce oil, that will go away in no time. And it probably doesn't even take that long, because I start producing oil immediately. But I just love this combo together. It's really, really matte. It's really long lasting, and I think it looks really, really good together. And that again is what I have on today. I just think it's really nice. And this is just really good for like a night out as well. I just really like it. Not much else to say about it. This powder as well, I think has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it is like, oh my, it is just so matte. Yeah, you can definitely tell it has a little bit of a sheen, but it's really, really pretty, and it's super matte. And I don't think, I got medium 2 to 2.5. I don't really know what that, it's beige is the color, but it's definitely not too dark for me or anything, I don't think. And I think it matches with the foundation really well. This foundation looks like a wee bit light, and I don't think it is, but I do think that this adds a little bit more like lively color to my face, so I think this is also just a really good pairing. And then as far as application, I use a big fluffy powder brush to put powder on no matter which powder I'm using. And then for the Color Stay Liquid, excuse me, and the Maracuja Miracle foundation, I use a stippling brush like this. And for the Maracuja one, I do wet this. I spray it a couple times with water and put it on, and if it dries up too fast, then I spray it again for like the other side, because that foundation dries so fast, and I am very like thorough, you could say. And then this is a Real Technique stippling brush, by the way. I absolutely love this brush. It is the perfect height for a dual fiber stippling brush. Like, it isn't too like wobbly, and it's perfect. I love it so much. And then for the Revlon Color Stay Whipped, I love it with the Expert Face Brush. It's just the perfect like denseness, and that is a very thick foundation, so it kind of disperses it very, very well. I usually kind of stipple it on everywhere and then start blending it in. And it's so, so good. I love both of those brushes. And I use them with multiple foundations, but I've, experimented, and I like to use a stippling brush with a couple of the more liquidy ones, and I just really like it. And that is all today for my favorite like combo pairings. And then I'm gonna probably do some lip combos, and then maybe some like eye combos as well, maybe even like eyeshadow combos. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see anything in particular, or know how I do my makeup in any kind of way. I'll go ahead and make sure I get a video out if you guys request it, for sure. And then I got a request to do an eye makeup tutorial that I'm still working on, but I'm gonna go ahead and get that done ASAP. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about any of the products mentioned, go ahead and let me know. I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see ya.